Why is the world always focused on Israel? And why does Douglas Murray always zero in on Israel? He's not of the Jewish faith. Why is he drawn to be at Israel's defense? Check out this clip with Douglas Murray on the Bari Weiss program, and he talks about why he is such a staunch defender of the land of Israel. So we'll watch it together and then talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
Talk to me a little bit as maybe a way to close about why you've prioritized this story. There's a lot of important stories going on in the world. And of course, you've covered those too. You've gone to Kiev and you've traveled all over Ukraine. And I know if there's some kind of dangerous hotspot, you will inevitably show up there in a flak jacket and a helmet. But this story has captured your time and your care and your thoughtfulness and your attention more than any other. And I think for a lot of people, even those who are broadly sympathetic to your worldview, for them, it will still feel like something happening thousands of miles away that might feel very far away to them. And I'd love for you to explain, in a busy world with only one person that has 24 hours in his day, why this story has so captured you, why you have been so tireless and passionate in exposing it and in telling it.
It's a lot of things. One is, as I've said to you before, I don't like lies. And I hate the lies told about Israel. And if you've covered any conflict there, you'll know that more than any other war zone, this is a war zone in which lies just go out everywhere, every day. People lie about the IDF. They lie about what the Israelis have suffered as well as what they do. So that gets me on an intellectual level. There's obviously emotional levels, some of which are probably too deep for me to go into, but one of them is, you see, is I do think that on one level, the supporters of the death cults, the people who would use their energies calling for the overthrow of all Western civilization, but who zoom in, and by that, that's not an exaggeration, of course, that's literally what the Columbia student protesters asked for, the overthrow, the destruction of all Western civilization. So I'm not on board with that because I love the civilization I'm from and I want it to continue. But they think that the first target they can actually take out is Israel. That's their view. They think they can take out a country of 9 million people faster and more easily than you can take out a country of 340 million people or so. And they're probably right in that regard. They're probably right. If you try to overthrow the United States of America, hard. Want to crush and completely destroy the United Kingdom? Not as hard. Could be done. People have tried before, but didn't work. Want to crush a state that's not yet 80 and has only 9 million people in it, in a very dangerous region, surrounded by people who want to annihilate the people of the country. Well, these people see that as being achievable. Now, what is it other than that it's achievable? It was a fatal blow to all the rest of the West. The Western tradition, as you know, as your viewers know, is based on the legacy of the Bible and of Athens and Jerusalem. If you were to take Jerusalem out of the equation, you do absolutely cut off the tree of Western civilization, not on a branch, but at the root. The whole tree dies. I mention at one point in the book, as you know, the passage from Deuteronomy, choose life. And somebody said to me earlier today, but it's such an obvious edict. I said, no, it's not obvious. It wasn't obvious at the time of the prophets that people should choose life, any more than it was obvious at the time of the Ten Commandments that murder was bad. People murdering each other all over the place. But my point is that this target of the anti-Israel movement, the anti-Western movement, they believe Israel is the first thing they can get. I believe that in one way they are clever in their target selection. They are right. The Islamists believe that if they take out Jerusalem as the holy city of the Jewish faith, and indeed of the Christian faith, that they can win for their own religious cause. The anti-Semites around the world always seem to believe that if you get rid of the Jews, something magical happens in the world. I believe they've selected their target well in one way. They're correct to understand the significance of Jerusalem. I agree with them on the significance of Jerusalem. It's just that unlike them, I don't want Jerusalem to fall. And that comes to the second tiny bit of an answer to that question, which is this. In one way, as I said, they've chosen their target well. And in another way, they've chosen it so wrong. Because yes, they're right. They're right. If you attack the tradition of the Bible, you attack the Jewish people, you attack the Jewish state, you take out this root of Western civilization, and you contaminate everything, which is what always happens. Everyone knows anti-Semitism is a problem. For Jews, yes, but then every other horror comes out of the box. But here's the thing. The reason they've chosen it wrong is that in my belief, and having spent much of the last 18 months with the young men and women of the IDF, Israel isn't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. The famous thing that Golda Meir said to Joe Biden, we have a secret weapon, and he thought that she was going to tell him that they had the atomic bomb. What is the secret weapon? We have nowhere else to go. The great realization of Herzl and the visionaries of the 19th century, of Jabotinsky and the rest, the great realization that has been resolved is the Jewish people must defend the Jewish people with any friends they have, hopefully with many, but the Jewish people will defend the Jewish people in the Jewish homeland. And they will not give it up. And they, to quote the psalmist, I shall not die, I shall live. And in the face of the people who are calling for the murder and destruction of the Jewish people, my belief is they have chosen wrong, because the Jewish people and their friends will continue to say, I shall not die, but I shall live.
Perhaps one thing to add to this from a theological perspective as to why all eyes are always on Israel, either for the better or for the worse. Everyone looks to Israel, no matter where you are located in the world, for your ire or for your comfort. And so this is based, I believe, partially on what it says in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 12, that Israel is the place where the eyes of Hashem are upon it, the eyes of God are upon this land from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. That there is a special dedication, a special province that God gives to the land of Israel, that he doesn't give to any other land in the world. And that's why, when you look back in all the centuries, what's one issue that you find surfacing itself and resurfacing itself throughout time is the centrality that this land has upon the rest of the world. And these days you notice it even more so because of the open conflicts that are over there, and since the Jewish people have gained governance over there again for the last almost 80 years. But the eyes of God are always upon this place. And so the eyes of the people, for better or worse, as their source of comfort or their source of ire, is always upon this place. But I do take comfort in this fact, and those people that are living in the land of Israel should also take comfort in, is that since it is the place where the eyes of God are always upon from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, it's not something that we need to worry about in the long sense of the word. The Jewish people aren't going anywhere. Many people have tried to annihilate us. They tried in every generation, in fact, in one manifestation or another, to get rid of the Jewish people. They've always failed, and they always will. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.